What's up guys, and welcome to another episode of my Dark Souls 3 blind playthrough. Now that I have your attention by beating almost half of the game, what do you think? I got what it takes? Am I up for the challenge? I gotta be honest with you, all the tips you gave me in the previous videos were quite helpful, and I think the second playthrough of this game is gonna be much easier. So without further ado, let's dig in and see what this episode has in store for us. I am digging deeper into this rabbit hole called Dark Souls 3. And if experience has taught me anything, it is that if something is easy, something much harder is waiting just around the corner. And that corner came much faster than I thought. As I finished with Yorm the Giant, I was teleported back to Emma on the high wall of Lothric. She gave me a basin of vows, and as the game instructed me, I was supposed to put it at the statue of Beheading Knight. Since I knew something was about to happen, and I have unspent souls, I went back to Firelink Shrine, reinforced my twin blades, and since I didn't have enough souls for another level up, I quested towards the statue. I placed the basin at the knight's feet. Darkness swallowed the room. The door slammed shut. A slim lady draped in shadowy veil glided to the floor. I drew my sword, signaling her to approach. Let's dance. And danced we did. But I was not the one leading the dance. I did manage to deal some damage to her, but it was insignificant. So this meant being caught by her grab is not an option. I have to learn the animation in order to dodge it. Well, that hurt. Time for the twin blades. I noticed that walking next to her fiery sword makes it easier to dodge some of her attacks. And I was getting better, but still not good enough. I was still having trouble with her grab. Her delayed attack makes it hard for me to dodge right. This time I even managed to get her low enough to enter second phase. One thing I want to mention that as she enters the second phase, she spins 7 times. So you can either back away and wait for her to finish, or you can try to roll into her 7th spin and then get some extra damage. I rarely manage to make such dodge, but I did avoid some damage by being close to her. I'm not sure if all damage can be negated this way. Let me know in the comments below if there is a way to cheese it. This went on for quite some time. Some of the tries I would get crushed immediately. Other times I got quite low but was almost there and didn't really manage to close the deal. Now I usually joke about boss's difficulty, but she really took a lot of my energy. It took me an entire Saturday afternoon to kill her. I remember my wife telling me to stop and try again later or tomorrow. I just could not. She has the most accurate name for a boss, because the whole fight is just pure dancing. As she makes one step, you counter it, make a couple of sword swings, then back off. And it is one of my favorite fights in this game. It was challenging, nerve-wracking. I remember almost crushing my controller in rage, but in the end, it's all a dance. And, as always, brace yourself because I'm about to drop some knowledge. So there's no special start to this boss. You must be careful of some of her attacks and your movement during the fight. I'd like to point out that she is weak to dark damage and immune to poison and toxic and frostbite. First thing you have to be careful of is this explosion. You're gonna notice her raising a flame to her lips and slamming it to the ground. I'd suggest moving away, since it has a quite large blast area. I would suggest keeping to her right leg. That way you'll have much more time to react to her attacks. And also put a couple of your own. Just don't be greedy. Next up is the grab. This one is tricky as it has delayed attack and you always kinda wanna roll too early. It's best if you can roll into the attack and through it, as it puts you in a good position for a charged attack or a couple of fast blows. Another attack is the slam from above, which follows you around, so make sure not to dodge too early. It is best to roll towards her so you can put some attacks in.
In both phases, she makes this circle attack with her sword. You can notice she thrusts her sword into the ground and makes almost a full circle counterclockwise, followed by this eruption from the ground. You have two options here, either roll directly behind her, or as I did here, just run away from the sword until safe. You can try putting an attack, but as you can see, she can follow up with another one after, just be careful. Next up is forward thrust attack, which you can dodge any way you want. It also leaves her open for some extra damage. Soon enough, after 133 tries, everything played out perfectly. I dodged all her attacks, as I explained earlier. This time, I was the one leading the dance. I even managed to jump over the 7th spin during the phase switch. I took my manhood and shoved it right up her. She not only took the title of the hardest boss so far, but also most fun to fight with. Like I said, the name Dancer fits her perfectly. The whole fight is just like one big dance.
Now usually this is the part where I say thanks for watching, blah blah blah, see you in the next episode. But since the last boss was immediately after the boss, I wanted to give you guys more.
Before I continue, I would like to ask you to go to the community tab on my channel and vote for the next game you think I should play. Listed are 2 Dark Souls games, Elden Ring and Sekiro.
Of course, I'm going to play all of the Souls-like games, but since YouTube would only allow me 4 choices, I thought it was logical to go for either continuing the Dark Souls saga or go for Elden Ring and Sekiro. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Samurai and I can't wait to play Sekiro. But if you choose one of the other games, I'll play them as well. It's up to you. You choose. Whatever you choose, I will play. So go to the community tab on my channel, put your vote in if you didn't already. And as always, feel free to comment, ask questions. I'm open for any discussion. I want to build a community around this channel. I don't want to just showcase the games. You've already played them all. Anyways, let's get back to Lothric.
So I have finally put the Basin of Vows to its place and it dropped me a ladder. I mean, you went through all that shit, acquiring the cinders of all lords, only to get a ladder? Come on, I was expecting a secret grand opening of a huge door or a passage to the next zone. All I got is a ladder? FromSoft, you can do better. An obvious path was revealed to me, which was straightforward, which is of course different from what we will do. I explored the left and right side of the stairs, and I was not much thrilled to fight this knight. As you already know, I hate the shields. The path led me to an elevator and a strange monster behind this poisonous water. I don't feel confident enough to go inside, so I went back to the Firelink Shrine, leveled up my endurance and packed up my bags to Lothric Castle. There I fought more shielded knights and I found out that Astora works well at keeping them at the distance. As I went right up the stairs here, I met more knights, but I found a way to cheese him. You lure them to this entrance, and it's a common knowledge that you can't fit a grown-up knight through a standard castle door. So you just bait his attack, back away, and he will just stop attacking as soon as he hits the doorstep. And then repeat the process until you kill him. Works with knights of all sizes and designs. Further along the walls I fought mostly easy opponents like skeletons and these zombie-like creatures. They posed very little threat and they were mostly cut down in a couple of swings. If you've gotten this far, this means you liked the video and would love to see more. Well, make sure to subscribe to my channel to be up to date with new videos and more. After looting this twinkling titanite, a more formidable opponent appeared, but I managed to take him out as well. As I went further up the stairs, clearing up some enemies in the process, I was welcomed by a sight of a bonfire. That meant shopping time. After crushing souls from my inventory, there was plenty to go around. So first I leveled up my twin blades. Almost maxed out, baby! Forget about the fact that everyone had a plus 10 at Crystal Sage, but who's counting? I then reinforced Astora as well. Then I got a point in Vigor, and that's all I could afford so far. So I went back to castle to continue my journey, and I have to admit I was faced with an interesting development. Apparently those two drakes are blocking the direct path to the castle, so I did the only logical thing you can do in such situations: tickle them to death with arrows. Of course that didn't help, so I decided to try looking for a different way in. I jumped down here and just casually ran past everyone, climbed up the stairs here and through here. As I reached the courtyard, I just ran for it. I didn't know what else I can do. After clearing a room from enemies, I climbed up these ladders. Well, at least I tried climbing. But those idiots didn't know who were they messing with. Up there, I was faced with the dragon's stinky feet. I thought to myself that this tumor might be weak to fire, which proves to be a good tactic. And it was destroyed in no time, which made the dragon disappear, and I got a titanite chunk. I was then faced with an overly aggressive knight, but I figured out a great tactics. Just charge the attack and he goes down in no time. At least that is how it goes when he doesn't have a shield. As I kept going further, I was surprised to stumble across the next boss. I wasn't expecting to reach him that fast. Another thing that happened fast were his attacks. By the looks of him, I was expecting someone slower, but man, his attacks were fast and hard to predict. So in a good old Dark Souls style, the first try was in vain. The second try,
it was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Not much better. As you can guess, this kept on going for quite some time. I couldn't really do much. He was throwing me around, and with the relentless speed and power, his attacks kept destroying me. I did figure out one combo where I could do something. It is when he swings his axe 2 times, you can move backwards, and as he swings the 3rd time, I can roll behind him, leaving him open for 1 or 2 attacks. Maybe even 3, but I didn't want to risk it. But that is pretty much all I could figure out at this point. This is the first time I realized how the rolling system actually works. I did understand that the more you weigh, the slower you are. But I didn't realize that as the weight of your equipment increases, the stamina is also drained much faster in the combat and with rolling. So I went in butt naked, as you usually do in sword combat, especially if you're a hot chick in a testosterone-pumped Hollywood movie. And I did good. Didn't get to the second phase, but I was pleased with the progress. Sometime later, I did manage to get the second phase. There are a couple of attacks you have to be careful in both phases, like this lightning attack, where you have to move away since it has a big area of attack. You can roll behind him before it lands, but it is not that easy to time it. Another one is this charge attack. It does huge damage, so it's best to avoid it. It's almost 360 attack. If you want to keep safe, you can just back away, or you can walk or roll behind him and get a couple of attacks in. I did get him quite low this time, but it was still not good enough. After that, most of my tries were pretty much getting him to second phase and dying. It was so frustrating until this point. Strap yourselves and get ready for some knowledge. I would usually just dodge the shield attacks, except for the one where he slams the shield into the ground, because usually they are followed up by another attack. This 3 attack combo is your best bet, and always try to capitalize on it, because it leaves you most space for the damage. The first attack has the biggest range. As the second one finishes, you roll into the third and attack up to 2 times. You can sometimes get away with the third attack, then dodge immediately. Next up is this slam. Here you dodge toward him and get 1 attack in. Most of the time that's all you can get. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. As you get him to the second phase, you have time for a couple of attacks before you have to back away for his lightning AoE attack. After that, you have time for 1 or 2 more depending on how far you are. In the second phase, you keep going as you were before, just be careful of the Drake attacks. Most of the times, you'll be baiting him for this combo. If he does something else, just wait for the next one. He's bound to do this attack at least once in combat. So if you're not at full HP, you will probably die. It is very important not to mess this one. This is the shield slam I was talking about. Here you can lower his HP by 1 or 2 attacks as well, then roll away. As you are butt naked, your defenses are non-existent, so it's important to have your dodging game to perfection. And always keep your health full. If your health is low and you have a chance to attack him, rather use the Estus flask and wait for the next opportunity, because sooner or later the new opportunity is going to come, just like in life. Don't be greedy or sad for the opportunities you missed. Be happy about those times when you seized your chances. And that, my friends, is how I defeated the Dragonslayer Armour.
So this was neither the easiest boss nor the most difficult one, but it definitely taught me a lot about patience. Because you always have to go for 1 or 2 attacks and then you have to back away and wait for more opportunities. It was a great fight, but I still lean a little bit towards the dancer. It was an amazing fight. But I also love how this game never fails to amaze me. Just when you think this is it doesn't get any better. It does. So I'm excited to see what will happen further down the road. If you are as well, then you should subscribe to my channel, and if you're new to this channel, welcome and I hope you like my videos. There's a whole playlist named Rise the Ashen One on my channel. You should check that out. It will be linked down below. As always, until next time, may your gaming sessions be epic and victories plentiful.